What's good, y'all? Hope all is well. Joshua Grady here, Agent Talk. We are back, okay? And today is Wise Words Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday, whatever you want to call it. And for me, I'm going to kind of switch it up. I haven't done a YouTube/full podcast episode on Wise Words Wednesday in a while. Wise Words Wednesday, for those that have been following me for a while, you would know what it is. It's basically this cadence. Shout out to Marcus Wingate. It's basically a cadence that I formulated that I felt like I used to go on these rants. Okay, I used to go on these rants. So I'm gonna just tell y'all, this is great. This is not where I had this episode going, but this I believe is a good episode because this is how Wise Words Wednesday even came about for me. Okay, and basically, when I was in college, I was on Snapchat a lot. And with Snapchat, what I used to do is I used to go on these rants, is what I called it, my rants. And I would just talk about anything and everything that I wanted to talk about. It didn't matter. It was basically something that I deemed as like, this is my space, no pun intended, to just put out what I want into the world. And so I would just talk about everything. Like I remember one of my first ones was I was just, and you know, with Snapchat, you had to, at the beginning, like you had to record like one by one by one. You know what I'm saying? The technology is not what it is today. And so I just used to have like 10 slides. You know, it'd be just a whole bunch of slides of me just talking about whatever. Sometimes, you know, foolish stuff, but stuff I just wanted to get out. And I remember, I'll never forget this. There was a time, and this is just for y'all that have a podcast or, you know, want to put something out into the world, but there's fear. There's always going to be some element of rejection. So understand that. I remember I used to do them on Snapchat, and I might have talked about it on here before, but one of my good friends, now wives, she asked me, Joshua, why do you do your rants, you know, and go on those long talks? I don't even listen to them. I just skip through them. And at first I was taken back, like, why would you say that? Like, why would you say that? But then, you know, and this is, I think, the mindset that you have to have is that means this content is not for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something you have to develop if you want to be someone that can be successful in putting things out into the world that you believe in and a vision that you have. It's not going to be for everyone. You know, we got GSA. I'm repping GSA today. GSA is not an agency that's for everyone. I'm not an individual that needs to be friends with everyone. You know what I'm saying? And when you operate at a certain level, you know, certain people are not going to understand you. And so from there, just kind of mention that because that was a benchmark for me to be able to like continue to push through. And from then it went to the Instagram. I did the same things with the stories. And that's really when I started kind of like branding, in a sense, Wise Words Wednesdays, because it just gave, again, myself a space to just speak on what I now deemed as like, this is wisdom. Basically, like, y'all need to listen to what I have to say, because if you listen to what I have to say, you will be better off, essentially. And I've always felt that way. I recently changed in my bio. Let me actually pull it up so I don't. This is my Instagram bio, just so I can quote it accordingly. I changed it this morning. And if you're not following me on IG at Agent Grady _, the link will be down below. Whether you listen on any platform, I'll make sure it's added here. Helping people be great since 1992. I've been trying to help people be great since 1992, and this is not an exaggeration because I just remember in Little League, I used to try to tell guys certain things. Some people listen, some people don't. Go into high school, college, life now, I just seen it. You know, I just believe that I'm someone that I really do try to seek out wisdom in life. I try to seek out guidance. I was very blessed, still blessed by my amazing parents, my mother and my dad. Just the way that they raised me. And the wisdom that they instilled in me, my grandmother, my coaches, teachers, you know, I've just been very fortunate to have people that have walked the paths before me that implanted wisdom onto me, I would say. So, you know, and still just have mentors all around. It's just very fruitful. So with that said, that's how I got into Wise Words Wednesday. And for me, I just want to be able to utilize this space here to help individuals be wiser. Like, that's all it's about. So why don't we go just look, if you just look up, someone even asked me recently, they said, or excuse me, me and my wife have talked about this. What is wisdom? I think that's a great place to start. What is wisdom, and what does that even mean? Because it's a word that often gets used, but what does that mean? So, definition by Google says it's the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise. Well, no brainer. The quality of being wise. Like, that's a great definition. So, the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. I think that's good. For me, I'm gonna take a little different route. Okay, I've not used the scriptures in a while on a podcast, and I feel like that is something that God has been calling me to, is to get back into just speaking on His Word. So we're gonna start a new sort of delivery for Wise Words Wednesday, at least on this platform. Now, Instagram, I'll still come out with my reels, things of that sort. But for here, Wise Words Wednesday, we got the good word. We got God's word. Okay, so for those on the audio, got my Bible out, and for me, this is from the book of Proverbs, is where I'm pulling this from. What I would like to do is for the next X amount of Wednesdays, I don't know if this will be every week or every other week, is just a dive into Proverbs, just because regardless of what you believe in faith-wise, and this is not what it's about, even though I'll make it known, I believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. What I want to do is just provide some sort of value. This is anyone. And I mean it like this. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We can get into those discussions at a later date. Whether you're an atheist, whether you're a Buddhist, whether you believe in this thing or that thing, the book of Proverbs will provide you wisdom off the top that will help you for the rest of your life if you take heed to the words provided. Okay, I've seen it myself. It's one of my favorite books that I've ever read of any sort, Bible or not. And so for me, we're just gonna dive in. Okay, so. Some people, when I mention the Bible, they was like, I don't know if I want to listen to this episode. But all I can say, you ain't got to listen. But this right here will help you in your life if you want to live a life where you have wisdom. Okay, so we're going to dive in real quick. So the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, very first verse. Okay, or even, let's backtrack. Let's give some context. We'll get some context. Okay, so before we get into that, we'll get some context. So in summary, I'm using my study Bible, New King James Version. Like a 64 color box of wisdom. Proverbs contains, so this is not the proverb. This is from my study Bible. Proverbs contains a wide range of sayings that blend color, shade, shape, and details to illustrate how wisdom behaves and how foolishness behaves. In the end, the choice between those two paths is ours. How to study Proverbs. So much more than the little papers in your fortune cookies. Even better than a great quote for an inspirational thought. Targeted more effectively than good advice and tricks of the trade. The book of Proverbs contains wisdom. Do you want to be wise? Don't answer just yet, because there's a difference between smart and wise. You need to catch that. There's a difference between smart and wise. We ain't even got into Proverbs yet, and this is giving wisdom. There's a difference between caring and wise. There's a difference between clever and wise. There's a difference between quoting wisdom and living wisely. To be wise, you'll need to apply what you learn. You'll need to make wise decisions even if no one else makes them with you. You need to get this. You'll need to make wise decisions even if no one else makes them with you. You need courage and a sense of adventure. You'll need to come to terms with the fact that some people might not like your decisions. But as you practice wisdom, you'll find togetherness. The God of the universe will guide you, and you'll find like-minded companions doing wisdom in harmony with you. Shout out to the Dream Team. As you choose wisely, your decisions will contribute to healthier relationships, more effective work, and more enjoyable returns. I can speak to this. This is truth here. Every aspect of your life will become richer. Another aspect of wisdom is that it requires trusting someone beside yourself. Listen to this. Another aspect of wisdom is that it requires trusting someone beside yourself. Solomon penned most of Proverbs. 1 Kings 4:32 tells us he wrote over 3,000 Proverbs and 1,000 songs. But Solomon's source was God. When God gave Solomon the chance to request anything, King Solomon, son of David, okay? Solomon, wisest man that ever lived, richest man that ever lived. Truth in that statement. Solomon adds, give to your servant an understanding heart, that I may discern between good and evil. So, okay, we'll get to that. So basically, God said, God gave Solomon, this individual that wrote this book, he gave Solomon a chance to request anything. Okay, so this was in First Kings. So let's go to Kings. Kings is before this. So this is First Kings 3, right? 3:9. Okay. Wait, is that right, bro? First Kings 3:9. That don't look right, bro. Oh, I'm in Second Kings. I'm tripping. My fault. Okay. First Kings 3:9. Son of David. We'll start at verse 6. Solomon said, "You have shown great mercy to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in truth, in righteousness, and in uprightness of the heart with you. You have continued this great kindness for him, and you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of my father David, but I am a little child. I do not know how to go out or come in." So this is Solomon talking to God as a child. "I do not know how to go out or come in." First thing, he's asking for leadership from the Lord. "And your servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore give to your servant an understanding heart, to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours?" God responds, the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon asked this thing. Solomon's asking him, "God, can you give me understanding to judge your people so that I may discern, I may know the difference between good and evil? For who is able to judge this great people of yours?" This is how I feel as an agent, as a CEO, a business owner. I lead people in their lives. I help people make life-changing decisions. I need to have discernment. Is this good for us? Is this evil for us? Is this going to be fruitful for us, or is this going to lead us to failure? And it's just the humility to know that I don't know it, but God knows it, and Solomon knows it. Okay, so the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this thing. Then God said to him, "Because you have asked this thing and have not, because you have asked this thing and have not asked for long life for yourself." So he doesn't ask for a long life. "Nor have asked for riches for yourself," does not ask God to be rich. "Nor have asked for the life of your enemies," does not wish ill on his enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern justice. Basically, God's like, you have asked for a good thing. Okay. "Behold, I have done according to your words. So I have given this to you as you have asked for it. See, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there has not been anyone like you before you, nor shall anyone like you arise after you." So God is telling him, "I've given you a wise and understanding heart. No one before you will have such a wise and understanding heart, and no one after you shall have such a wise and understanding heart." So this is wisdom that this man is going to give to us. "And I've also given you what you have not asked." That's the thing with wisdom. Wisdom gives you stuff. Like, God will give you things when you're being right with him and seeking out wisdom. Wisdom breeds other fruit. Okay. "I have also given you what you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be anyone like you among the kings all your days. So if you walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments as your father David walked, then I will lengthen your days." Okay, so God is basically like, you asked me for wisdom, I'm going to give you that and so much more, because that's what you asked for and not this other stuff. Okay, so let's go on back. Dang, that was good. Okay, Proverbs came from God. That's Kings, by the way, if you want to get into Kings. Proverbs came from God. Actually, we're going to take a quick pause real quick. If you're not doing so, please follow, watch the Agent Talk podcast in some sort of capacity, whether it's on the audio, whether it's on the visual, the YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. If you have gotten any sort of guidance, any sort of anything that has helped you in your life, if this podcast has helped you in your life, this YouTube channel, please like. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening on audio, just take 1 second, unless you're driving, please leave a 5-star review. It really does help. It makes a difference. It draws other eyes to the channel. So if you want other people to potentially get this wisdom, then I would just appreciate if you could do that for me. And I'm also stalling because I need to send a text to a player. So good morning. Can we push our call back to 10 a.m. Eastern? Right? Bet. Locked in. Okay. Proverbs came from God, and we know He is the only one who can be fully trusted. Following Proverbs means obeying God, confident that He has your best interest at heart. You'll need confidence in the substance of, in quotes, because it's quoting Hebrews, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of not seen. The evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. It takes faith to live according to words written 3,000 years ago by men you never met, who are given wisdom by God you've never seen with your eyes. Wisdom requires one to express an understanding heart. To the Israelites, the heart was a center of a person's emotions, will, and mind, much more than a smart brain or a good head on your shoulders. Wisdom means that everything within the believer has a capacity to do rightly. 1 Kings 11 shows that though Solomon has the ability to be wise, he didn't always choose it. You won't either. So Solomon had the ability to be wise, but he did not always choose to be wise. Something key to remember. Like Solomon, you will regret being pulled away from wisdom. So you can be pulled away from wisdom by people, situations, or your own sinful tendencies. But having wisdom is like knowing how to ride a bike. It's always there for you. And when you decide to start being wise again, you'll find that it never left you. The book of Proverbs addresses topics from everyday life: guarding one's speech, blessings and sins, how to raise capable children, pride and humility, money and energy. One of the biggest challenges of studying Proverbs is its hodgepodge nature. The individual wise sayings are seldomly systematically arranged. Instead, you'll find one verse about lying followed by a verse about being a sluggard. Unlike you would with the Psalms, you're less likely to dwell on an entire chapter. Instead, you may want to read a section and analyze it, which is what we're going to do. Perhaps color code the chapters according to topics, or read a chapter and ask God to clarify the verses He wants you to apply that day. Some truths in Proverbs are absolute, meaning they universally and without exception hold true. For example, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Some reveal the way things tend to work, but exceptions will occur. For example, train up a child in the way he should go. Recently put this on my Instagram story. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Though this is not a divine guarantee, it's clearly good advice and in line with righteous values. We are wise to discern the difference between the absolute truths and the general principles so that we know how to apply the verses. Proverbs is a book for the young and the old, the new believer and the mature Christian, and I believe for everyone. It's for the talkative and the quiet, the introvert and the extrovert, the woman and the man, the boy and the girl. Proverbs is like the oldest and most compassionate person you could ever know leaning over an offering. Now, if you want to know the secrets to... Oh, listen to this. Proverbs is like the oldest. Think of this. Who is the oldest and most compassionate person you could ever know? They lean over to you and they say, now, if you want to know the secrets to a life well lived, here you go. Here you go, man. The secrets to a life well lived. Is that you? Do you want a life well lived? If so, continue to tap in. Let's get it. The book, oh shoot. The book of Proverbs is different from any other ancient book of wisdom because it is not composed of human wisdom. Get that? The book of Proverbs is different from any other ancient book of wisdom because it is not composed of human wisdom, but of divine wisdom, higher wisdom. You'll delight in being spiritually stretched, convicted, and even radically changed by Proverbs. If you are ready to be wise, this is a wonderful place to start. Let's get it. Proverbs 1. So I'm just going to read through this. I'll give my thoughts, and we'll stick to just chapter 1 today, and that's what we got. So if you got your Bibles, please get it out. I always recommend the physical over the digital, just my preference. But we're going to get into it. New King James Version. My subtitle says the beginning of knowledge. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, judgment, and equity, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning. and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. To understand a proverb and an enigma, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So let's go back. So first, I will read my study Bible notes. So a very helpful study Bible. If you want one, let's see. I believe my wife got this for me. Shout out to Lydia. New King James Version, Thomas Nelson. This is the front. New King James, it will say, it says, know the word study Bible. And I think that's it right there. Okay. So it says to know. So going back, it says in verse 2, to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. Okay, so to do this, to receive the instruction of wisdom. So it's telling you, in order to know wisdom, in order to know instruction, in order to perceive, to basically to perceive the words of understanding, or basically to understand the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, the instruction of justice, the instruction of judgment, and the instruction of equity. So if you desire to do this, it's going to tell you, let's do this. Okay, so actually I'm going to go through my interpretation first, then I'll go to the notes. So continues, in order to give prudence to the simple, in order to give to the young man knowledge and discretion. Okay, what will a wise man do? A wise man, woman as well. So I will use man because that's what my Bible utilizes, but it applies all. When he says man, oftentimes it's not just here, but oftentimes man means mankind. Okay, so I'm not gonna get into the individual ones. I'm not that deep into it, but to me, it's just speaking to everyone, all of us. A wise man will hear. So where's it start? Hearing. Okay, we got to hear better. A wise man will hear and increase learning. Increase. We can learn more. Okay, you right now, you can learn more. You do not know it all. I don't know it all. Every day is an opportunity to learn. And a man of understanding. So a man of understanding. What will that individual do? They will attain wise counsel. Do you have wise counsel? Do you have individuals around you that are wise that can give you counsel? To understand a proverb and an enigma, the words of the wise and their riddles. Okay, so to understand a proverb, to understand what is going on, this is the goal. So to know all of these things, this is what a wise individual does in order to understand the enigmas. Let's look it up. What is enigma? Something that is a person that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. Okay, let's look up definition of proverb. A short, pithy saying in general use, stating a general truth or a piece of advice. So in order to understand a general truth and to understand the enigma, the mysterious, something that is difficult to understand, the words of the wise and the riddles, this is what you must do. You must tap in. Boom. Ask yourself, is that you? Okay, we'll go back through the notes if need be. I think we're good. Let's move forward. Verse 8, subtitle, shun evil counsel. My son. Actually, no, we're going to go back. Okay. I didn't finish. Okay, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. We'll get into what does that mean. But fools, ask yourself, are you a fool? And if your answer is no, this is understand what fools do. Fools despise wisdom. They want nothing to do with the wise, okay? They reject wisdom. They also despise instruction. They don't want to be instructed. That person at the gym, when you try to talk to them, try to help them out, they don't want to hear it. Foolish. That player on the team that don't want to be coached, just being foolish. Myself, if someone from my team says something to me, my wife says something to me that is instructing me, and I reject what they have to say, I'm being a fool. It's all of us. Okay, so let's learn from this. Notes here, verse 2-3. To know, to perceive, to receive. These verbs refer to the ways we acquire wisdom. Wisdom refers to skill. Instruction could also be translated discipline. It refers to the process of receiving knowledge and applying it to daily life. Verse 3, justice, judgment, and equity. Biblical wisdom also has a moral context. It involves all of life and may often involve a change of behavior and a commitment to justice. 1:4, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. The young have little experience and are more likely to make mistakes. It's the facts, okay? A wise person has learned by experience how to distinguish what is true, praiseworthy, and good from what is false, shameful, and bad. Reference to Romans. Verse 1:7. The fear of the Lord. This concept is the most basic ingredient in wisdom. Okay, the most basic ingredient in wisdom. Fools have rejected the fear of the Lord. The term despise is strongly negative. Not fearing God is the same as rejecting wisdom outright. Okay, so that's it, man. If you want to have wisdom, do not reject God. Start there. That's where it starts. I'm not going to get too far into it. That's just where it starts. Do not reject God's existence. Instead, know that he is there. Wisdom follows. Okay, we'll continue. Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be a graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. So very straightforward. Let's go back. My son, hear the instruction of your father. So listen. Do not forsake the law of your mother. Do not leave what your mom has taught you. Like, do not forget that. Why? For they will be a graceful ornament on your head. So, like, I mean, think about it. Like, it'll be a graceful ornament on your head. Like, that looks good, basically. That's all I'm taking from that. And chains about your neck. Jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you will be good, basically, is what he is alluding to. My son, let's keep going. Verse 10. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. So sinners, those who are doing wrongdoing. If they say, come with us, understand the context, because some of the verbiage is maybe not in our day and age, but it can be translated to our day and age. And I say translated, not like legit, what's the term? Phonetically, but more so I will try to help paint the picture of how this relates to us in our time, if that makes sense. My son, if sinners, so those who are doing wrong, entice you, do not consent. If they say, and not to dim down the meaning of sin, I'm saying this to my frat brothers, and they, we can get in that discussion at some point, but that's not for now. Okay. If sinners entice you, those who are doing wrong, those who are going wrong against God, other people, entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait to shed blood. So to do wrong, they are planning to do wrong, basically. Now, this says to shed blood, like they trying to kill some folks. Okay, so maybe that's not you, but this still applies. Let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. So this would even be like this morning. I saw a video. It was a lady, I think in California. She got robbed. Child in a stroller. They're in the gate of their house. Get robbed. Okay, so it does apply to people. When they say, let us lurk secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol. I'll go into what I don't know. I might be saying that wrong. Sheol. I don't know how to say Sheol. Let's define it for you. Sheol, the Hebrew underworld, the abode of the dead. Okay, so whole, like those who go down to the pit. Okay, we'll one day talk on the pit. That is not what this episode is for. We shall find all kinds of precious possessions. So this is what the evil are saying. We shall fill our houses with spoil. So basically, we're just going to go. He said, we shall find all kinds of possessions, precious possessions, and fill our houses with spoil. So just doing things to be selfish, taken from others. Cast in your lot among us. So basically, come with us. Let us all have one purse. So get into this debauchery, this trouble together. Come to the bar with us when you know that's not the place you need to be. Go out with us. Come smoke this with us. You trying to hit the casino. It's little things of that sort that lead to what we're going to get into. Okay. What he says, my son. So basically when people in some sort of way, Instagram can do it. However can do it. Gossip about your church can do it. Hey, call it, it can be anything. Call it women, you too. It's not just men, it's all of us. Okay. Come into this stuff in general that we should not be doing. Okay. He says, my son, do not walk in the way of them. Keep your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. Okay. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. So in vain. So there is no point and spreading a net in the sight of the bird to where the bird can see it. It's going to dodge it. You're not going to catch it, is what he's saying. So similarly, or more of a metaphor here, but they lie in wait for their own blood. They lurk secretly for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who is greedy for gain. It takes away the life of its owners. You cannot miss this. You cannot miss this. He's talking about blood. He's talking about lying in wait. The vein, the net is spread. What does that mean? Okay. Where he says, like, look, let's go back. Let's read some of these notes real quick. Okay. 1, so this is verse 15 through 18. My son, do not walk in the way of them that do this. The parents speak words of caution. One step on the precipitous path is a step towards destruction. Spreading a net in the sight of the bird one wishes to trap would be a fruitless task. Yet the fool is less sensible than the bird. He will watch the trap being set and get caught in it anyway. My goodness. Okay, he is saying that when we are being foolish, we are basically setting the trap for ourselves. Okay, in your marriage, if you're looking at stuff you don't need to be looking at, you're setting the trap for yourself. You're going to get caught. If you're doing things wrong with the finances, you're setting a trap for yourself. You will get caught. If you're not doing your job at work, you're setting the trap. If you're seeking out other things, you're setting the trap. If you're doing wrong, you're setting the trap for yourself. You need to be focused on doing right. It's very simple. Okay, do not set the trap for yourself. Okay, so if that's you've been living wrong, it's something about you, like whatever, you need to stop. That's the first step, is stop to repent. Okay, so if you setting that net, I've been there. I don't set the net for myself. Gambling, drugs, alcohol, like eyes in the wrong place. I've set the net for myself before. So let me be the first one. Okay, continue. Verse 20, the call of wisdom. Wisdom calls aloud outside. So I love the beauty here. Like right here, this is like, before, some stuff, it can be hard to digest. Like, what is he talking about? Right here, to me, this is beautifully written. And like this, like sort of writing is what drew me into Proverbs. So he's going to talk about wisdom as a she. Or I think that's personifying. I don't know the term. Okay, he's giving human aspects to wisdom. So just so y'all can understand. So when he says she, he's talking about wisdom. Wisdom calls aloud outside. She raises her voice in the open squares. She cries out in the chief concourses. At the openings of the gates in the city, she speaks her words. In quotes, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? So this is wisdom talking. For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn at my rebuke, my rejection, when I'm correcting you. Surely I will pour out my spirit upon you. I will make my words known to you, because I have called and you so this is the next passage. So let's go back right there. We'll stop right there. So verse 20. So wisdom is calling, it's yelling, it makes an attempt for us. Okay. She raises her voice in the open squares, makes herself known. She cries out in the chief concourses. So he's just painting this picture that in the middle square where everyone can hear, wisdom is calling, like trying to make herself known. It just in our lives every day, there's opportunities for us to pick up crumbs of wisdom. That's the same way. That's basically what is being said right here. Okay. So listening to this podcast, I hope it's a part of that path. But those are conversations that you have with a person at the register, certain books that maybe you read. Listen to this podcast. There are little instances every single day where wisdom is trying to make themselves known. Like, hey, this is what you need to do. This is the step you need to take. It gives you a nugget. That's what he's saying right here. So wisdom continues after saying, she speaks her words. Okay. She talks to us. It goes on to say, how long? So this is wisdom talking. Okay. How long, you simple ones? Okay. She coming with it. Simple ones. Will you love simplicity? So for those that are listening, that there's something in your life that you need to take this step. Wisdom has been telling you need to take the step, but you're not taking the step. You're being a simple one who loves simplicity, basically. For scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Fools hate knowledge. Understand that. Fools hate knowledge. Even in conversation, sometimes Like if I have a dialogue with an individual and I'm just like, man, they don't get it. They don't get it. I just be quiet because fools hate knowledge. You can speak all the wise words you want to, give them this advice. If they're living in a foolish heart posture, they're going to reject it. Okay, just understand that. Turn at my rebuke. So when I correct you, let's look up the word rebuke. Rebuke and to express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions. So when wisdom tells you that you are doing something wrong, essentially, I disapprove of your actions because it'll be made known to you. When you turn and you correct yourself, when you repent, when you start going the right way that you need to be going, surely, wisdom continues, I will pour out my spirit on you. The spirit of wisdom will be poured out on you when you correct yourself. I will make my words known to you. However, verse 24, so it continues, because I have called and you refused. So when I make my words known to you, but you refuse, you don't listen. And because I have stretched out my hand and no one regarded. So no one listened. Excuse me. Because you disdained all my counsel. You did not want wisdom's counsel and would have none of my rebuke. You would have none of my correction. When we get to those times where God is telling us, you need to do this, you need to do this. And you're like, nah. Like you're rejecting what you know you need to do and what you know is wise, whether it's forgiving someone, whether it's paying that bill, whether it's doing right to someone that you feel like you don't need to do right to, whether it's calling your mom because y'all got a broken relationship, whatever it could be, calling that friend that you've been ignoring. Okay. Let's go back. Because you disdained all my counsel and would have none of my rebuke, I also will laugh. No holding back the punches. Wisdom will laugh at your calamity. Let's look up. Some of y'all might not. Calamity, an event causing great and often sudden damage or distress, a disaster. So wisdom says, I will also laugh at your calamity. So when we, looking at a timeline, when we reject wisdom, after she makes herself known, we become like the individual that traps themselves in their own trap. Okay? Disaster, calamity. I will mock when your terror comes. So she's letting you know it's going to come and she's going to laugh. Wisdom is going to laugh at you. And your destruction comes like a whirlwind. So your destruction will come like a whirlwind. I don't know too much about the whirlwinds. I would imagine they come fast and they hit like that. Okay. When distress and anguish come upon you. So that is guaranteed to happen when we do not walk with a wise heart posture. Then they will call on me. So after this destruction has happened, then they will call on me, but I will not answer. They will seek me diligently, but they will not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would have none of my counsel, and they despised my every rebuke. So this is wisdom talking to us. Therefore, they shall eat the fruit of their own way. So they shall eat the fruit of their own way. So the seeds that they planted in their route, that is what they are now going to take in because they refused wisdom. It's not going to be good fruit. And they will be filled to the full with their own fancies. For the turning away of the simple will slay them, and the complacency, the laziness of fools will destroy them. Okay, so for the turning away of the simple, so turning away to the simple principles of truth will slay them, and the complacency of the fools will destroy them. However, last verse, whoever listens to me will dwell safely. Whoever listens to wisdom will dwell safely and will be secure without fear of evil. That's it. That sounds kind of good to me. Okay. You listen to wisdom, you will dwell safely, and you will be secure without fear of evil, without fear of the finances going out, God not providing, without fear of your neighbor because you've been living right next to them, been treating them right, been treating them wisely. You won't fear simple things when you're on the road driving because you'll drive wisely, slow, use your blinker. Like very simple things. And just for me, man, like I just want to get into this book. Okay. I want to get in this book. There's a lot more. This is just, the intro to Proverbs. I would encourage you to read it for yourself. If you have any questions or whatnot, throw it in the comments. Any way that this could be better, throw it in the comments. If this helped you in any sort of way, please share with a friend. Like I said, please like, please subscribe, please send it out. If you're still listening at this point, I would imagine it's 40 minutes in. Hopefully you got something, okay, and I didn't waste your time. If that's you, please do what I'm asking. It would just really help me so I can grow this thing out the way that I believe it should and can. So that's liking, that's subscribing, that's dropping a 5-star review on the audio. It literally take you less than 60 seconds. It would help me a lot if you would share with a friend, just like, hey, this might help you. Think of that. If there is one person that you believe could utilize this episode, please send it to them. Please check out our other episodes if this helped. I want to get a routine of dropping these. This is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be every week or every other week. It's going to be one of the two. So that's what I got. Wise Words Wednesday, Joshua Grady Agent Talk. I really hope this brought value, fruit to your life. Let's go out there. Let's be great. Let's get to it. That's all I got. I'm out.